Today we're breaking down the Sanctum of Rebirth, step by step, so you know exactly what's coming and how to deal with it. I'll cover the key mechanics, the layout and the mistakes that get people killed, so you can walk in prepared and clear it clean. Before you head into the Sanctum, let's quickly go over the requirements and recommended setup. For quests, you'll need Necromancy and Soul Searching completed. Both are mandatory to access the dungeon, but they have no requirements on their own, so you can complete them very early on. Stat-wise, I recommend 80 or higher in your main combat style, with 80 plus defense to make things a lot more forgiving. You'll also want at least 71 prayer for protection prayers and access to ancient curses. For supplies, overloads are highly recommended. That's 96 Herblore if you want to make them yourself, but you can get them any method you want. Gear-wise, bring armor and weapons appropriate for your combat level, plus some form of shield. A shield, defender or bone shield all work. And finally, make sure you've got necrotic runes with you for bone shield and darkness. Neither is obligatory, but they do make the kills a whole lot easier and more forgiving. Considering you want to take on the dungeon, I'm gonna assume you've completed both quests and should know where to start the encounter. However, in case you don't know anymore, here's a quick reminder. Teleport to the city of using the lodestones. Walk east, then north across the plaza, down the staircases, along the dock, and take the farthest northern gondola to the Isle of Rebirth, where you'll select the leftmost stream, then select normal mode, as this guide will not cover hard mode. The first boss, Vermyx Brood Mother. Vermyx herself has 4 abilities. She can summon a crystal under your feet, which will always be preceded by a message saying Snarl. Then a tile underneath you will be highlighted, you can just walk out of it. Optionally, you can destroy the crystal that has spawned to make sure you have plenty of space to move afterwards. She can also summon a soul bomb on you, which will always be preceded by her saying Cree! The bomb will first be highlighted as a 3x3, which you can just walk out of. After the bomb has landed, you're free to move back into your previous square, as there is no lingering effect. Her third ability is a breath attack, named Wormfire. If you see the entire center zone highlighted, just move to the left or right of the arena to dodge. If you are close enough, you can still attack her, getting in some free damage. Finally, she can summon a scarab that will heal her, preceded by her saying, Heal! In order to slay a scarab, you must first stun it, then you can finish it off. The first time she retreats at 300k HP, a brute will appear at the west gate. Here, reflect the incoming spirit 3 times by standing on the highlighted tile. If you miss any reflects, just move out of the zone in front of the brute, wait till it's done raging, and then move back in and continue reflecting until you've reflected 3 souls in total. After successfully reflecting 3 souls, just move into the center and continue attacking Vermyx. Once Vermyx is reduced to 200k HP, another brute will spawn at the east gate. Here you'll do the same as the west gate. Reflect incoming spirit 3 times and then move back to the center. Now continue hitting the head until it's downed, and congratulations, you've killed Vermyx. The second boss, Kezalam the Wanderer. To start the encounter, simply click on Jump Down Ledge. Now you have all the time to prepare, as long as you don't cross this first golden bar. So this is the moment where you'll want to make sure that your familiars are summoned, your godbooks are active, your brews are up, activate Reflect Magic or Deflect Magic before you actually start the encounter. Then just move forward and start combat. His first attack will be a clearly indicated bomb that you can just walk out of. After 4 attacks, you'll see him lean back and summon a cage around you. At this point, just wait it out until he launches another basic attack at you, and right after it hits, activate Resonance. You can also just spam it after the basic attack has landed on you. You shouldn't take any damage. If you do take damage, just eat up. Another 4 attacks later, he'll summon another wave of bombs. Just walk out of the indicated zones once again. If you do take up damage, you should have more than enough time to simply eat up. Upon reaching 400,000 and 200,000 life points, Kezalam will become immune to attacks. But in exchange, the obelisks will become vulnerable. At each mark, pick one of the obelisks and destroy it. You have a decent amount to do so, but if you fail, simply return to attacking Kezalam, and once he reaches the threshold again, you can continue destroying the obelisk to move on to the next phase. Similar to Vermyx, Kezalam also can summon Scarabs. These Scarabs, however, only have 2k HP and instead of healing the boss, start charging a blue bar. If the blue bar gets fully charged, they'll deal a decent chunk of damage, so make sure to stun and kill them before they do so. A final mechanic of his is the line that actually summons under you. Just walk out of it as you do with the bombs, and you shouldn't take any damage from it. That's all the mechanics for Kezalam. Now simply avoid all of them and continue killing him. Congratulations, Kezalam completed. The final boss, Nakatra, Devourer Eternal. For Nakatra, I have amazing news as you've basically already defeated her, as most of her mechanics simply are the previous two bosses combined. Her first attacks will always be magic, so you'll want to start the encounter using Deflect or Protect from magic. You heard that right, her first attacks, as after each mechanic attack she uses, she will switch between combat style, switching between magic and ranged. Orbs for magic, arrows for ranged. Throughout the encounter, you'll often see the soulfire waves. These are the highlighted bands stretching from one side of the area to the other side. They always come from the side farthest away from you towards you, so you have plenty of time to simply walk out of them. Another mechanic is where she says prepare for death. Don't panic, just after she says that, use resonance, and instead of taking damage, you'll heal a big chunk of health instead. If you have the adrenaline, you can also include reflect to even deal a big chunk of damage to her. If you don't have resonance, you can just use reflect or devotion with deflect magic to mitigate the damage as well. Just like the previous two bosses, she can also summon scarabs, but instead of one specific type, she summons one of each. Stun and kill them both, just like you did with the previous bosses. The scarabs always spawn near the stairs, so it is in your best interest to position yourself near them before they actually spawn. At 640,000 HP, she'll enter phase 2. Here she'll also start summoning in bombs to parts of the arena, similar to Kezalam. Each bomb taking up 1/9 of the arena. The easiest way to dodge these is to stand at the intersection of 4 sections, so you need to move the least to get the best chance at dodging. Repeat this and the previously mentioned mechanics until she reaches 320,000 HP. At this point, she'll summon in her guard dogs. You'll need to defeat both while dodging alternating variations of Soulfire. The closer you are to the dogs, the more damage you'll deal. Kill them as fast as possible, for the longer they live, the more corruption Nakatra will get, and the harder the encounter will become. Once you kill the second dog, she'll throw a short tantrum before you get pulled into a different area. Before this happens, it's best to switch to deflect or protect from melee. In this area, you'll want to take note of the two symbols in the back, whilst also clicking on the Soulstorm and desummoning the 2 Ak that spawn from it. Kill the 2 Ak and click on the 3 soul fragments that appear before the time runs out. Failing to do so will throw you out of the encounter. Once you've successfully done so, get over to the symbol you didn't see before as fast as possible. Finally, there's one more mechanic, but this one you can with some skill Wook's Walk, meaning you wait outside of the zone, and as the other zone gets hit, you run into it, dodging the next zone that would get hit. She does this wave attack 2 times before going back to her other mechanics. Repeat this final phase a few times until you bring her down to 0 HP. And congratulations, you finished the dungeon. I hope this guide helped you get some kills in. Definitely let me know how it went and if this guide was any helpful at all. Hopefully see you next time and keep PvMing like a boss.